Alright. Move you guys way over here, I guess. I don't know if this is a smart decision or not. We're going to do it anyway. Sorry, I got to tighten this up real quick. Oh, you guys on TikTok. I'm working on the gimbal real quick. Moved y'all a little bit, but not much. Alright. So I'm going to move this down here. We're going to clean up my mess a little bit. I'll drop you guys down a little lower. Right there. Should be good. And let's talk. Let's have a conversation, guys. We've got YouTube guys, Facebook guys in here. I think I'm going to try to pull you guys in a little closer, I believe. I don't know. You guys on TikTok, let me know if you can hear me all right when we get to this. I've got to wire up a couple more plugs real quick so you guys don't die on me. So give me just a second. So I didn't have service earlier, unfortunately. I was trying to go live and it just wasn't working. So I've got lots of build work to do, lots of stuff I need to get caught up on. But you guys have made it abundantly clear you have no clue what the heck a keydown is and you would like to know. So I'm going to do what I can to help teach you guys. Well, that's unfortunate. I think we're pretty good on charge, so I'm just going to charge just the gimbal. No, we're not. We're at 35 freaking percent. So no, we're not going to play that game. We're just going to put this booger up right here. All right, give me just a second. We'll start talking. If you guys can be patient enough with me, we'll see what happens. So, if you guys haven't seen, I've got about double you guys on TikTok and about I don't know, we got some more on Facebook and stuff too. Let me see if I can get in here. I'm trying to hop into the live real quick. Facebook and stuff too. Mute that. Sorry, I'm hopping into the live so I can read your guys' comments, because that's the whole point of this live, is literally to respond to you guys. We're going to rotate through from Facebook to TikTok, and I think I'm going to need a piece of paper. I think that's probably the best decision. I don't know. There may be something better I need. But as of right now, that's what I'm going to go with. Oh, Lord. Not good. Whatever. Random paper. This is the crappiest pen I've ever seen. Not using that pen. Where's my good pen at? My good pen's right here. We'll pull you guys in nice and close. We can talk about the antenna design too. Let's get into that too. I'm going to move you guys on TikTok closer real quick so you guys can kind of hop in and hang out and see what the heck's going on. Something like that. Alright. Let's talk about it, guys. Appreciate you sharing the live, Jeremy. Thank you, thank you. I'm just pulling this down so you guys can all see what I'm doing on the desk. Alright, let's go ahead and start with the first questions that show up. Alright, no questions on YouTube. We've got questions on Facebook. Let's go ahead and start with that one. We have an antenna design. So I'm going to draw a very crude vehicle, right? So we got a hood, we got a bumper, whatever. We got a front tire, we got a back tire, we got a back. Something like this. Don't matter what it is, doesn't matter if it's a van, doesn't matter if it's truck, doesn't matter what it is. So we got some sort of a vehicle like this. All vehicles, no matter if it's literally 80 meter through 2 meter, don't matter what the heck it is, Any frequency, they're capacitively coupled through the actual tires to ground. So there's no actual physical ground connection on those vehicles. What's up? How you doing, Postman? Hope you're doing well, man. So we'll check TikTok and see if you guys got questions real quick. I'm going to go right here. Cleta says you need 10,000 followers. Well, I appreciate it. I mean, I don't have to have 10,000 followers, but it would be pretty neat. All right. So, again, we'll talk about antenna design. So you guys all saw the vehicles over the weekend. So we'll talk about what we see. We have one antenna right here. We have another antenna right here. And that antenna goes up like that. This antenna will be slightly longer, not much. Then we have a boom system, right? That boom system extends out, and it has a varying degree of supports. So some sort of support system like this, like that. And that's what you saw, right? Then from that point you saw, most of the time you saw 1, 2, 3 more elements. Sometimes you saw a 4th. So depends on which type of antenna system it is, whether it's a 6 antenna system or a 5 antenna system. Copy watching from Lafayette, Georgia. All right, so we'll go forward real quick. Hang on, see if any other questions on TikTok pop up. All right, so we'll keep going. So then we have antenna design right here. So these elements right here are a half-wave design. So the goal on these, ideally in the scenario, is to modify something called radiation pattern. So we're going to flip this page real quick, and we're going to talk about what a radiation pattern is. Ideal, what's called an isotropic radiator. It's a non-existent antenna. It's just a theoretical antenna. It's an antenna that is a perfect, well, obviously that's not a perfect circle, just it's a perfect sphere. That's what it is. Equal given distance in all given directions. So it's literally a sphere. That's what an isotropic radiator is. A dipole, which is 2 split elements with a split in the middle right here, would generally have a lobe kind of like this. So on and so forth. I mean, I will just lobe it like that. It's equal on both sides, but it generally will do that. So this antenna is known as 0 dBi. 0 dBi gain right here. This right here is what's called a DBD. This would be 0 dBd. This is 0 dBd. So this is decibel gain over a dipole. So every reference to this would be the decibel gain over this type of antenna design. And this right here, every reference to dBi would be decibel gain over an isotropic radiator, a perfect circle on an antenna. So what a beam does, not all beams are made the same, but what a beam does typically is, say this is the feed point right here. It'll do something like this. And then it'll have this right here, and something like that. So what happens is the majority of the signal is forced one direction. So that's what a directional antenna is, or a beam, or a Yagi. Quads will also do this. Any antenna system where you're stacking multiple elements. So I'm going to talk about a traditional style Yagi first, so guys can maybe understand. A Yagi antenna is, I'm going to make it quick, real quick though. It's like this. That's a dipole, right? So connection points in the middle. Well, then we got another dipole. Another dipole. Another dipole. And another dipole. This pushes signal that direction. It acts like a big back door. So any signal going right here kind of just gets thrown right back around. In essence. Not exactly, but in essence. And these pull the signal that direction. That's what it's doing. It's taking all that signal and trying to force a lobe out that way, not in a perfect circle. So going back to the mobile antenna design, what this is these are half waves right here, because that's all the rules will allow. They used to do half waves here, and they were dominating and beating everybody else. So they banned that or outlawed that and stuck with just the quarter wave elements here, and you can do these at whatever height you want. So everybody's stuck with the half waves because they're trying to pull that signal instead of having a very high takeoff angle due to near field ground interference, just the ground being all around the antenna itself. It's not up in the air where it's isolated from ground. So it's trying to shoot up at a high takeoff angle. So they want it to shoot more that direction. That's their goal. So this is a modification to that design. Is this the perfect design? Absolutely not. There's no perfect design. There's another wagon out there. It's actually got an antenna here with a cross section here, and another antenna here with a cross section here, and then another antenna with a cross section back here. All kind of crazy designs. That wagon that I'm showing you from the roof line, say this is above it, that wagon actually performed pretty well. It was a van, actually, is what it was. So this is just one iteration of antenna design. So this is the competitive area. You can modify spacing between these elements here. You can modify height between these elements here. So that's what the antenna design is. It's basically as close in a mobile application to a Yagi as possible. That's their goal. That's their goal. That's what they're shooting for. No, the goal is to try to get it out of the ionosphere. You don't want to shoot the atmosphere because you're trying to hit a receiving station that's 25 miles away. So they're only 25 miles directly that direction. They are not in the sky. So if you're talking to the sky, you're dodging who you're talking to. So the directors are shorter on your M106 Mako. It just looked like the directors were longer than the driven and not shorter than my Mako. That is correct. These are half wave. These are quarter wave. If you look at your Mako, these are all half wave. Every single one of them are all half wave. So when you take your reflector and your director and you make them quarter wave, you can't do much with that. So you're just trying to shoot for the best of both worlds. They're trying to actually jump it back up to half wave right here. That's their attempt. Whether it works or not, I mean, somebody would have to come out and throw a new antenna design out there to try and see. So let's see what other comments we have on TikTok real quick. What do you guys got to say? Anybody got questions real quick? Alright, most people do not realize dBi is imagination. Laugh out loud to see an antenna with 20 dBi. In reality, it's like 3 dB. So yeah, there is a major difference between dBi and dBd. Decibel gain over a dipole, a realistic antenna, or decibel gain over an isotropic radiator. That is a non-realistic antenna. But there's absolutely a very real purpose for having dBi. If you actually look at a perfect cylinder, you can understand what happens. If I want to get more gain somewhere, I have to take it from this perfect circle somehow, right? So I'm going to make that perfect circle more oblong, right? So now I've just extended distance on both sides whenever I did that. Well, say I want to extend distance even more. So I'm just going to open it up like this right here and then try to round it off like that. So then I've got my circle over here, but everything back here is closed off. So it's forcing that signal one given direction. That's what happens with any sort of Yagi, any sort of directional based antenna. What it's doing is it has to take the gain from the perfect circle to begin with. Now, if you have a dipole, one element here, another element equal right below it, it does rob the gain from somewhere. It robs the gain from the top and it robs the gain from the bottom. So nobody wants to talk above you and nobody wants to talk below you. They typically want to talk out and away from you. So that's what happens there. Next, more hello from Spain. Hope you're doing well, David. Waving a hand, man. All right, so now we're going to talk to the rest of you guys. Who else has questions? Chat is disconnected. That sucks. Well, darn. Sorry, YouTube. Poor guys, you got disconnected somehow. Oh, my internet died. Oh, that sucks. Hang on, did it kill my internet over here? No, we're doing pretty good here. Yeah, something's going on with my internet, so I'm trying to see your guys' comments. Give me just a second. So let me look on the phone real quick. The reflector in some distances does need to be longer. The reflector does. But in this situation, it's not able to. The rules don't allow it. YouTube, no other questions on YouTube. Alright, so let's go to TikTok. Let's check your questions over there. Alright, so see if I can get this to load back up. It did load back up. I don't see questions there. Facebook, let's refresh here, see if I see questions on Facebook. Alright, Facebook questions. Let me get back into this live. All the Facebook questions are done, so far at least. TikTok, what do you guys got to say? Let's see what your questions are. Everybody wants to know about your keydowns. We're answering keydown questions today. Oh, I don't know why he was lagging. Yeah, that sucks. Now, if it still says I'm lagging right now, that sucks for sure. So, let me know on TikTok if it's still lagging. It should not be. I'll have to fix my Wi-Fi and do something else if it is lagging. But hopefully not. Copy, I'm good now. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. I just reset my whole network. I have a mesh network. It travels. I got a 2 gig network, but it travels like 500 plus feet to get out to my shop. So, yeah. All right. Questions. Anybody else want to know what a keydown what a keydown is? We're going to go through one more example, and I'm going to keep explaining real quick because this will be the video that answers all these guys' questions. I got 1,000,001 people complaining that I'm not answering people. So we're going to go ahead and draw a shootout lane. So we have a light. So typically it's just red and orange, red and green, but we'll just say red, yellow, green. We'll just say that. We'll just say we have one. So there's a light here. There's a stick dude right here, and he's the one with the phone. He is talking over here, way out in the distance, to, let's just say they have some tower into a shack, into a recorder. So they're talking that direction. They're talking to the tower. They're typically around 25 miles away. So now, let's draw the shootout lanes. We got to kind of make it angle that direction. So we'll draw a cone here, a cone here, cone here, cone here, cone here, cone here. There's no rules on where you have to be in this cone. As long as you're within this cone, you can pretty much set up. So you can set up shop right here, right next to the cones, just to try to affect the other guy's signal. That is perfectly legal. There's nothing illegal about that. But typically, let's just say for argument's sake, each setup and each station is like this. Now, this is not to scale, obviously. It's just a normal drawing, whatever. Whenever you produce your radiation pattern, let's just say you make this big, perfect lobe. You got your tiny little side lobes, and you've made the equivalent of what a real radiation pattern is, right? On a Yagi. The goal is, if you park close enough to the other guy, what you would like to happen is something like this. Something like that. You want to mess up their radiation pattern. You want to make sure that you being next to them is knocking their signal that direction and not straight ahead. So there's theory in that, based off of how close or how far apart you want to park next to the other guy you're competing against. There's also a theory in the antenna design itself, where the spacing is set for each, how tall each element is, and so on and so forth. So that's how that works for the most part, when you're side by side in each lane. Next, more questions. Let's go to the next real quick. Facebook questions. Drag racing while sitting still. Need 261. Hang on a second. I need 261's money. Miles, just message me. I don't know exactly what 6 foot ones you're talking about, but I can help you with whatever you need. I'll try to message you afterward. If I run dual whipping tennis, would that be better? Doesn't the reflector need to be there? The AC class, what does it consist of? Okay, we'll talk about AC class. Now, we're going to go draw an engine block, right? So, I'm not going to do a very good job at this, just whatever. Bear with me. Whatever. We got an engine block here, right? So typically, you will have one alternator that'll go to the crankshaft, right? So you'll have a pulley that'll go over to here, and that'll turn your one alternator on your car, right? Everybody got that concept? Can everybody see the screen? If I need to zoom in, let me know. So nobody's saying anything on YouTube. I haven't gotten any response on TikTok. Anybody want to see? Can you guys see pretty well? Let me know if you need to see closer. All right, we'll go to the next. Now, in a so there's multiple classes. There's 2 device, 4 device, 8 device, 16 device in what's called a DC class. So this is what the brackets are. Each one of these are separated classes, and they have separate brackets for each one of them, right? So they have bam, 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 bam. These 2 right here get bracketed up. These 2 right here get bracketed up. This one gets moved on to the next right here. Then you got bam, this one over here, this one over here, so on and so forth. And then they get bracketed together. Bam, and then bam. And then you just elbow those up, then you got a winner. Right? That's how you could work a bracketed system. Doesn't matter. Sometimes, a lot of times they're equal. Sometimes you get a buy around, and it'll just move you to the next round. It won't move you straight to the finals. Whatever. Doesn't matter. Everybody knows how brackets work. So there's brackets for every class. There's different keys for every class, and that's how it works. AC. The rules is not, they change from how many devices you can use to how many alternators you can have. There's 1 alternator AC, there's 2 alternator AC, 3 alternator AC, and what's called Sky. So Sky is unlimited, right? That's unlimited. That's the unlimited class. You can do whatever the heck you want. That's what Sky is. Sky's the limit is what the rules are. There is a Sky class for DC, but it's not as popular anymore. So then, of course, you got all your separated brackets, so on and so forth, for each one, right? Whenever you go into 2 device, you only need 1 alternator. 4 device, 1 alternator. 8 device. Let's just go ahead and say, let's go ahead and add another small alternator, right? And then what we'll do is we'll just extend our pulley around and so on and so forth, right? So that would be for 8 device. 16 device, we're going to go ahead and we'll usually be able to go with just 2 and just still be fine also. Sky, you add as many as you like. So now we go back to AC. You can have 1 device to run all your DC components, and then this device is AC only. So this right here is 1 single device for AC. This right here will run back to whatever unit you're powering. This right here will run back to everything else. So One alternator AC is what this class is right here. Then let's say we go to a 2 alternator class, right? So we will try to make this hobo engine block real quick. That was stupid. Whatever. So we draw our circle. We got our crank pulley right here. So then we add, say, 2 alternator is going to have something like this. So we'll have a pulley system over here, and then we'll have a separated pulley system that goes around right here. And then whatever. These are just idler pulleys right here just to hold everything in place. Doesn't matter what it is, you're just going for good wraps and stuff like that. You can run anything. There's no legality about whether you have idler pulleys or not. That doesn't matter a bit. But just realize the more wraps you're going to get, the more coverage you're going to get, the less friction you're going to have to deal with. All right, so anybody else can't see the drawing? Let's zoom in. Come on now. Thanks for letting me know. I will zoom in and you guys can see the drawing. So zoom, zoom, zoom. Okay, we're zoomed in. I'm going to go ahead and zoom in on Facebook and YouTube also. I'll try to bump you guys in a better spot. Something like that. I think that'll work. Sorry, I can't get you guys much closer than that. Right? So we have 1, 2, 3, a crank pulley, and then another. So this runs the vehicle, and you have 1, 2. So that's 2 alternator class, right? 3 alternators, the same thing. 1 device to run. You could have 1 device, 2 device, 3 device. You could have 5 devices running the regular vehicle itself, or 5 alternators running the regular vehicle itself, but only 2 can be run to this box right here. Only 2. So you could have bam, bam. You could have 2. Then, sky's the limit, the way it works. Let's say we have a much bigger motor, because we will. We have a big old crank pulley, somewhat. And then we're going to just go hog wild, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We're going to run a whole system. And we're going to typically wire it up like 1 idler pulley, 2 idler pulley, 3 idler pulley, back to it, right? And then we'll do 1 idler pulley, 2 idler pulley, 3 idler pulley, maybe 4 idler pulley, and then back to it, right? And then back to that system. So, and then from here we'll tie in 1 idler pulley, 2 idler pulley, 3 idler pulley, 4 idler pulley, and then back to it. It's 3 separate things. So your crank pulley is going to look something like this, going into the crank. And it's going to have ribs for days, right? And you're going to have 1 belt coming in here, 1 belt coming in here, 1 belt coming in here. That's how that setup goes. So that sky's the limit. That's as far as it goes. Any more questions? You guys want to know anything else? Let's go forward. Alright. Like sharing all the knowledge. I'm always trying to try a grease board next time for us good old men that can't see again. Good job. Yeah, I'm sorry. I wasn't planning on drawing it all out, but I was going to explain it. But words don't really help people. People want to see something physically. So, unfortunately, it's not the best drawing, so on and so forth. Must you use the motor in the truck, or can you use a separate in the back of the truck just for power? Yes, you can use a separate truck. So there was a van back years ago. Let's just draw a crude little van right here, right? And he had his pretty decent sized motor up front, and then he had an additional motor in the back. That additional motor had alternators on it. He ran AC. He ran AC Sky, the unlimited class, basically. It's like super late model. It's like top fuel dragsters. It's like whatever. There's no rules on that class. You just run whatever you want. So he had a bunch of alternators on that, and he didn't participate in any of these other classes. He just competed in Sky. So technically, all of these classes right here, every single one of them, they don't care how many alternators you run. You could run 12 alternators on every single one of these classes. The limited classes for alternators are this, and this. 1, 2, and 3 alternator. These classes are limited by the devices that you're running. You can only run 2 devices, 4 devices, 8 devices, 16 devices. That's in the DC powered class. So, yes, you could have an extra motor in the back. Second week of every month, Cousin Testing 10, come key down with us. Single antenna, stock voltage, 2 antenna class and up, Central South Carolina, come get your feet wet. Somebody want to have some fun? There's other guys that says if you want to join in, you can feel free to join in with them if you're around Central South Carolina, so you have an opportunity to get over there and start having some fun. So that's opportunities for you guys. Any more questions, guys? We're going to kind of move forward. You guys still had questions before. I think I might have answered them. We'll go forward. Are they still running a lot of batteries in DC? So, there's multiple things you can do in DC now. You can run a regular car battery. You can change up to a new style system right here. And you could run a new lithium battery setup. You can change up from lithium, and you can run a I got one over here somewhere, maybe. Find it. In the DC class, you could run a custom Let me get a Phillips head real quick. Give me just a second. You could run a custom super cap setup like that, or you could get into a newer custom setup. These options are not regulated. You can run whatever you want. So if you think you've got what it takes, and you think you got it figured out, and you can beat everybody else, that's a whole other type of lithium cell that you can run. So you can run these lithium cells. You could take over car stereo technology and move it over to it, and use those new charging systems. You've got options, whatever you like, whatever you want to do, you can do it. So you're not stuck with one specific choice. Your limitations on the DC classes is not batteries. It is voltage. There's a specific voltage. The rules, let me see if I can get out from underneath. There we go, cool. This right here is limited, I think it's 21 volts. That's the only rule here. You can't run more than 21 volts, and you have to run one specific type of device. You have to use that device. There may be new rules introduced in the next 5 or 10 years where you can change that device and we'll open a whole new class up where it will be a different type of DC class. Technically, if you want to run a different device, don't care what device it is, you have to go to Sky right here. You don't have an option to do anything else as of now if you want to use a different device than what everybody else is using. That's how they regulate it. AC, whatever device you want to run, it doesn't matter. As long as it runs off this AC system right here, it doesn't matter. You can run whatever you want. Technically, you could run a DC system on an AC alternator, and compete in the one alternator AC class. So you have that option. There may be a little bit more scrutiny, and they will absolutely inspect you if you do something like that, because guys don't like cheaters. Same thing with 2 alternator and 3 alternator. Only thing limited is the alternator. It doesn't matter what device you use. Sky is completely unlimited. So yes, you can run a separate motor in the back. You can run separate things other than batteries. You can run supercapacitors. You can run electrolytics. You can run lithium batteries. You can run lithium titanate batteries. You can run some LiPo4 batteries. You can run some lithium-ion batteries. It doesn't matter. You can run anything you like. So let's go on to the next, right? What other questions do we have real quick? Let's go ahead and go over the rest of them real quick. So I could put a Tesla Powerwall and run 10 kVA to my system. Yes, you could put a Tesla Powerwall in. You could use literally a Tesla car battery setup. You could take a 50 kilowatt hour Tesla battery system and put it in your vehicle and run a 50 kilowatt hour Tesla battery system to your setup. In this class right here, you can run whatever batteries, whatever charging system you want. In this class right here, you can only have an alternator. You cannot have batteries. You can't have batteries in line at all, because that's technically a form of cheating, because then you got more storage capacity than what just one device can run. Alright, so now any more questions? We'll go forward. I'm going to try to hit all your questions today, because I got to get back to work and normal stuff. I'm going to be working on this RG400 and everything else here pretty soon. So you guys, you'll see how the alternator set up. You'll see how the 1 alternator setup is, the 2 alternator setup is, the whole second engine in the back. You can do that. You see how it's bracketed and they run classes. You see how the goal is to talk one given direction, and if you can, push the other person's signal away. That's one thing. You're trying to also possibly increase their SWR if possible, or trying to have more modulation than them, and then the last is be more efficient than them. Because in every one of these classes, except for Sky, we'll ignore Sky. In every class here and every class here, you're on an equal playing field. You got the same thing they got. There's things that you can do different, but you still got the same thing they have. So Sky is where everything, all bets are off. You put whatever you want into it, do all kinds of craziness if you wanted to. I got back in the radio in 2020 after a 15-year layoff. I've learned more from me in the last several weeks than everywhere. Thanks so much, 5-4 Rambler. Well, absolutely appreciate you, Rambler, man, for sure. I don't need y'all looking at my legs anyway. I need to get y'all on this camera right here. Get my legs out the way. All right, so appreciate you, Andy. Thank you. Motor in the truck. We already answered that. Zoom a little. Red Fox said that earlier. Did I zoom enough? I thought I zoomed enough. Hopefully that helps you guys out. Let me get this out of that camera angle anyway. All right. Zoom a little. Drag racing. Okay. So, yes. Let's go over the last piece right here. Are the elements connected to one another or just grounded to the vehicle? They are isolated from the vehicle and isolated from each other. You can run a system where the elements are connected together. That is absolutely fine. There's nothing wrong with that. So that changes something called radiation pattern. That also changes your gain figure. That changes your boom length on how everything works out. But you can connect them together or you can isolate them. It doesn't matter. So Smith, I have no questions yet. Copy the no questions yet. I run dual whipping tennis. Would that be better? The directors longer or shorter than the driven. I talked about all that already. Rephrase. Yeah, I saw that. Now, what else? Zoomed in perfectly. Sweet. Copy that. The antenna length rules the same for AC. Yes, the antenna length rules are the same for AC and DC. You are limited no matter what you do. The only rules on your system is this right here. This and this have to be a quarter wave. This one specifically has to be a quarter wave. If it's a quarter wave, it directly determines how long this one needs to be. If you run a crazy long one right here, it's going to mess up what this one does right here. So they don't really care about this one too much. But they definitely would raise concerns if you made a super long one in the back. Even though you'd still lose, they would still probably complain. So these technically both have to be quarter wave. So that is your limit there. So now, let's go back to the shootout lanes. We'll talk about each one of the lanes real quick. So, picture these right here. This is a cone right here. So I'm going to draw a line with the cones, right? So picture this. Like a road, right? So, where's my cones? Yeah. Picture this like a road. We'll make some cones right here. 1, 2 more cones right here. So we have a road here and a road here. Signal goes that way. Signal goes that way. We don't drive. We sit and park with all this. The only time these motors will ever see any sort of RPMs is as soon as you throw that motor in park. They will idle it all the way up to the line because you'll damage the antennas because they're so tall. So yes, the only time they're ever revved up is in park. So it's the exact opposite of what you'd think would be in a drag race. But the thing that's moving is the signal, and the signal is traveling at the speed of light on each one of them. So it's not a matter of who keys first and hits the line first. So it's kind of like an overtaking kind of thing. You may come in first, but they may come in right on top of your signal, and they may come up even more. So whoever's got the edge on top of the other one for the longest period of time over the course of 10 seconds, doesn't matter if this one's coming over, this one's coming over next, this one's coming over next, whoever has the most for the most total time over the course of 10 seconds wins the key, and the other one loses the key. So if this one gets 3 seconds and this one gets 7 seconds, it doesn't matter if you heard him for 3 seconds, you heard him for 7. 7 wins. That is the last part of the rules. If they are irritated, they are not a benefit to the hobby at all. So the whole point of this page, what I do, is to benefit every single communications hobby as much as possible. I try to, now there's not a whole lot I can do to benefit airports. So, I mean, that's not really a hobby, that's a business. So yes, sure, I have customers that I ship equipment to that's a business, and that's not really, I can't help them at all. It is what it is. I'll just send them some product. But for the guys that I'm trying to help, I'll do whatever I can to help your hobby out. Because, I mean, it helps me out in my business. If I benefit every single hobby and I get more people into the hobby, all that is more potential customers for me. It doesn't hurt my feelings if they don't all do business with me. My goal is specifically just to benefit the hobby. Now, I get, of course, secondary benefits from that, but I don't care. I mean, I could get secondary benefits from just doing work all day and getting more orders instead of taking my time off and going to all these places and spending way too much money, making it to these events. But whatever. I mean, that's just part of it. Hello from DG3TF in Germany. Hello. Hope you're doing well. I got one of those boxes, picked it up, but I don't have any need to use. Looking to sell it. Just message me on here. I'm that mother dude. I ain't not repeating that. You're about to get me in trouble. Just message me on here. Just click send a message and let me know. Yeah, don't be getting me in trouble on this thing. I am minding my P's and Q's. This is on AM, so you have a carrier, of course, and you modulate into the sidebands on this. So the carrier is what tries to quieten, you try to have a higher carrier than what the other station does. But also, if you don't have enough envelope growth on your stage, even if, well, let's just say it this way. Let's say you have, let's just argue a little bit. Let's say you have a higher carrier and they're down here. You have a higher carrier, but you don't have your setup right. You're only, of course, you got a lower part to it for sure, but you're only growing this much. Let's say they grow that much, right? even though their carrier is lower than yours, their added modulation is a very real possibility. They could jump right on top of your carrier and actually come right over top of the audio. So there's a balance that has to be had there too, for sure. So usually people will pick at the beginning, let's go ahead and flip to another thing real quick. So this is really up to you. Anybody can have fun with it. You can do whatever the heck you want. Literally do whatever you want. So it's first come, first serve. So if I'm the first one in line, somebody else the second one in line, third one, fourth one, fifth one, sixth one. As soon as I come up and I pay that club the money to enter into that class, if I'm first, let's say D-Win right here, in that class, say this is the 2-device class, right? From that point, when I'm first, I get to pick what I want to say. So I want to say, I could say D-Win, I could say 1, I could say worldwide, I could say 9, I could say relay, I could say cat. It doesn't matter what I say. I could say D-Win, D-Win, D-Win. I could say 1, 1, 1, 1. I could say worldwide, worldwide, worldwide. I could say 9, 9, 9. I could say relay, relay, relay. I could say cat, cat, cat. Doesn't matter what I say. I can pick it. That is hotly debated and has been hotly debated for 30 some odd years. Absolutely, yeah. That he might actually. I didn't check and see. I never figured out his name. Should have probably tried to figure out his name. Yeah, Cuz Customs kid. That was cool. He had a 2 antenna class. We had some Cuz Customs in here, or somebody that knew Cuz Customs. I haven't memorized everybody in Cuz Customs names. Jason Kaiser. I'm not sure. But yeah, it was really cool. West Palm Beach. He was 19 years old, and he actually he won a Keydown, so he was super happy about that. So we'll zoom in real quick on. All right, let's zoom in on TikTok down here. So we're at 42%, and this gimbal's trying to die. So we'll aim this down real quick. Down we go, down, down, down. All right, so. Something like that. This should show you most of the pages. Now, let's look and see Scooby Steve. Copy the Scooby Steve. Scooby Steve or Scuba Steve? That's cool to know for sure. Alright, so now, my understanding of the keydown is... So, as far as frequency, on a keydown, it does not matter. Doesn't matter. There's no requirements. For frequency. You can be on 27, you can be on 28, you can be on 26, you could be on 7 megahertz, you could be on 50 megahertz. It doesn't matter. It just matters what your club agrees to at that particular point in time. So you can be on any of them. These events are 1 time per year. Each time they key is 10 seconds. This is not any sort of interference no matter what frequency they key on. They do not bother anybody. They key 1 day per year. The day is usually maybe 5-hour span, and it's at a minimum or at a maximum in the entire day. I would say that was terrible handwriting, but whatever. At a maximum 10 minutes worth of actual airtime of everybody keying for their 10 seconds on each one of these brackets. This is literally the equivalent of Street Outlaws. So Street Outlaws is called Street Outlaws because they're outlaws. Now, of course, it's a TV show, but there's definitely people. They were doing it before the TV show. They would go on the middle of the street. They would shut down a street, and maybe they would pay for a street to get shut down. Maybe they wouldn't. Don't know. But technically, what they were doing was against the rules. Technically, a key down in a general sense is against the rules. But this is so far outside the norm of whatever the heck is against the rules, it's ridiculous. This is not one of those things where these guys are going to bother anybody. So, yeah, sure, you could say that. You could use a rule from 1976 and say if they chose to use 27 megahertz, then they're limited to 4 watts carrier and 12 watts peak. Say 27, not sorry. But I can tell you with a absolute certainty that doesn't matter what frequency you're on, there's always somebody going to break the rules. Doesn't matter if you drive over the road, there's always somebody that's going to break the rules. Don't matter who they are. You got guys that's on 3880, you got guys on 7200. Those guys are running converted AM transmitters from 10,000 watt, 5,000 watt, and 10,000 watt transmitter stations. They're in all communities. Doesn't matter if it's aircraft, doesn't matter if it's broadcast, doesn't matter if it's telecom, doesn't matter if it's whatever it is. Back in broadcast, they used to take the AM transmitters and they'd bump them up to as much modulation as they could until they put a regulation so they can't do over 125%. Like, there's all kinds of stuff there. But I don't have anything you said. You will. So, like I said, anybody can talk about anything as far as that stuff is considered. This is not something I do. What's up, Charles? Waving a hand, man. Bandwidth. Bandwidth is usually, depends on frequency. If you're super low, the bandwidth changes. But say it's around the 27 megahertz, it's going to be 10 kilohertz for the most part. So it'll be 10 kilohertz bandwidth for the most part. Scuba Steve, copy the Scuba Steve. Cool. All right. Any more questions before we get off of the key down subject so you guys can understand what this is? A lot of guys get confused about this. A lot of guys want to, I don't know. I don't get the whole idea. They get, oh man, I've driven, they sitting there driving 85, 90 mile an hour on the interstate, and here they are talking about somebody doing something for 1 day out of the year for 10 minutes out of the year. No matter what, in some of these areas, these key downs could be considered against the rules. But these guys, they pay a park. They literally take their time out of their day to organize an event. They pay for police officers to come out to these events because once you get a certain amount of people at an event, you have to have a police presence in closed-door events at least. They pay for these big venues. They pay for the park access. They don't do anything that's going to bother anybody else. These guys are literally the nicest people you'll ever meet. They mind their own business. They talk on literally, most of them don't even do anything except for these competitions. Same thing with the street outlaws guys. Not every street outlaw dude is driving up and down the interstate like they're like a banshee and just wrecking into people. They might literally trailer it to that street outlaws event and go do their drag race and then go leave. And after winning whatever bets they're going to win. So it happens with anything. So like I said, that's kind of ridiculous. So you can't change that to make more envelope power? No, there's no rule on bandwidth. You could use more bandwidth. So technically, you would want to actually use less bandwidth. You would want to cut the bandwidth down into a more narrow, more concentrated amount of power. But there's two schools of thought when you move your bandwidth down. The one school of thought is the whole idea that you're going to narrow your signal up to the point where you will have a bigger signal on somebody else. But the whole problem is let me flip to a different page. The problem with that theory is I cannot draw a human ear for nothing, so whatever. Human ear. Here's 20 hertz to 20,000 hertz. The human ear is that spectrum. If you narrow it down to a very small spectrum right here in the middle, it's possible something over here might be louder in my eardrums. I might hear a perceived loudness at a different frequency that's louder. So the problem with modulating into the sidebands is the width of your modulation. The width that you modulate into the sidebands is directly proportional to the frequency that you modulate. So it is frequency controlled. So if you narrow the bandwidth, you narrow the audio spectrum, the actual portion of the human ear is going to be hearing to that receiver. That could benefit you, that could bite you in the butt. It just depends. Copy always also raise money for charities. Yeah, absolutely they do. They've done a lot of things to help, for sure. One of them literally takes donations to try to help other people out. All right, so does anyone else have any more questions about what these things are? I've kind of gone over a bit of it. We talked about motors. We talked about alternators. We talked about extra motors in the back. We talked about a carrier being on top of another carrier. I don't know what the heck I was talking about right there. I'd have to go back and look. I don't even know what that is. We talked about one specific device needs to be used. We talked about the voltage limit. We talked about the antenna. Whoops, on the next page. We talked about the antenna height limit. We talked about the conditions of winning whoever is heard on the water gate, on the recording station for the longer period of time. Doesn't matter if you got 3 seconds on the gate. If they got 7 seconds on the gate, they won. That's part of it. The receiver's about 25 miles away. This person right here is one who controls whether this light turns red or turns green. If you miss the light, you miss a couple seconds on the beginning part of the key, because the light's only going to be on for 10 seconds. So if you don't key for 3 seconds, that means you gave them an automatic 3-second head start on you. So yes, it's important to catch the light, but it's not as critical as a lot of guys think. I mean, if they had 5 seconds and you had 5 seconds and you missed the light by a second, you would have 4 and they'd have 5, and there you go, they'd win. But there's no real timestamp at the Watergate station to know when this light turned green. It just depends on whoever keyed first. So technically, I hate to even mention this, but there's some nuance to this. If people don't catch the person jumping the light, then the one who jumped the light might actually get more time. But the other keyer will absolutely call them out for cheating if they're doing that, because they're not stupid. Video gates, replay, and replays. Okay, so what a Watergate station is, let's go back to the Watergate. So they call a winner on the field. Most of the time they'll call a winner to begin with. But everything goes back to the recording. Whoever has recorded the Watergate, after everything's said and done, all the keyers, everybody who jumped in on all these brackets right here and jumped in line on one of these pages here, I'll find it, all the keyers that jumped in line right here, every one of them goes to the recording station, and they go to listen to what happened on the gate. Sometimes, depending on the rules, you can contest every single round. Other times, you can only contest the final round. So all that stuff happens from there. All right, so it should cover all that. Rekeys, I guess you get a total of 2 rekeys before they swap lanes. So let's say we got this right here. So you got 2 lanes right here. So if you tie up for 2 turns, more than 2 keys, and it's too hard to call, they'll swap lanes. And then you'll go key again, and then whoever wins that, it's single elimination. Whoever wins, wins. There's no 2 out of 3 keys and stuff like that. It's if it's too close to call, then it's too close to call. But if one person comes out on top, that's the one who wins. You suck. Whatever. Alright, sorry about that. I kicked out TikTok on accident. Let me make a short video for TikTok real quick. Alright, TikTok, sorry about that. You guys got kicked out. I talked about DC classes. I talked about AC classes. I talked about my crappy little drawings right here. Second alternator in the back, multiple alternators, AC Sky. I talked about how the lanes work. I talked about how the keys work, how many seconds everything goes for. Whoops. I talked about how many seconds everything goes for right here. I talked about how far away the Watergate station was. I talked about DVI versus DBD. I talked about antenna design. I talked about what DBI is, what DBD is. I talked about what a Yagi is. I talked about the different ways that you can call the race. I talked about the different, like what this is similar to, kind of like Street Outlaws. Talked about the different requirements. Talked about the different bandwidth that everybody could run. But yeah, I had a whole discussion about the frequency that the human ear can hear, and we talked about that. So yeah, we talked about Keydowns, guys. You guys missed a live if you didn't pay attention. Alright, so we'll continue for Facebook and YouTube. I just accidentally messed up, and there's a little, I have to do like a little riddle thing to stay live on TikTok, and sometimes I just don't pay attention to it. So that was my mistake, unfortunately. But yeah, it's part of it. So let me, right here. Alright, told. What the heck is that? Oh, what that is. Well, what is this supposed to be? I don't know what this crap is. Whatever. Get free exposure. Choose this videos to include all the. Nah, I'm not doing TikTok Amplify. Alright. Back to what we're doing. Let's go forward. Sorry, guys. No limit usually. How about coax to any limits? No, you can run any size coax you want. You can have a small RG400 right here. There are limits and setups there too, but you could run 1 5/8" right here. So it doesn't matter which coax you choose to run, this one or this one. The only rule is, let's go here. Let's jump past the ears. This is my wife's notebook. She's going to kill me. All right, let's say front windshield right here. And you see your front mirror all the way up here. And then, I can't draw this for crap. I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to draw that. Whatever. Let's do this. Let's draw a roof line right here, and let's draw the interior of the cab, right? The hood is over here, so on and so forth. This is driver's side window, this is back window, this is back glass, so on and so forth. The driven element is right here, right? The reflector is back here. Most of the time, the reflector has nothing hooked to it. They do have something called a dual height setup. We can talk about 2 coaxes going to a mount. Doesn't matter. But this coax right here that's run back, all the way back here to whatever equipment is back here, no matter what it is, it has to be visible from start to finish, all the way to the antenna. If you can't see this coax, you cannot compete. They will not let anybody cheat in any way. They need to see everything on the coax. So there's no limit on coax, but there is a limit on hiding coax. You cannot make your stuff super neat. That's just part of it. All right. Any more questions? Do you guys have anything else y'all want to know about? Talk about video gates, realize. I think we explained pretty much everything. Maybe you guys got a hold of it. But if y'all have any more questions about Keydowns, we can talk about them later. I've got to get to work on this coax. I'm not going to stop my live. I'm actually going to start my TikTok live again and then we will just get to work on this other stuff. So this will be a little bit longer video than normal, but whatever, it's part of it. Alright, so live. But yeah, you guys ask me more questions real quick and I'll pull back off and I'll answer some more stuff. Let's change that. Take that. You guys can watch me making a video. Save that. Save that. Alright, we're done. Oh no. Uh-oh, that's not good. Okay, good. Threw me off for a second there. Alright, I'm looking for your comments real quick, guys, for anything else you guys might have to say. Is there a max to elements? As far as I know, there is 5 and 6 antenna systems. I don't know if there's a boom length limit. I know with custom antenna design, Shasha got away with building one. You can look up Shasha Keydown on YouTube, and you can see what he did on his designs. It is that was done too for sure. Oh, what the heck I did here? Look at these, should be able to be finished. But yeah, Shasha Keydowns, you'll be able to see how his antenna design was. It was a little crazy in comparison to what most guys were. He was the one, I believe he put an extra motor in the back too. He wasn't the only one who ever put a motor in the back. But yeah, absolutely. I appreciate you hanging out. Appreciate you, you guys' commentary, and appreciate questions. Questions are always appreciated. So TikTok guys, sorry I kicked you guys out a while ago. It wasn't my intention. Apparently I have to do a puzzle every hour, and if I don't do the puzzle in time, then what happens is it kills the live. So I did not do the puzzle in time. So we'll go back and we'll go into my live real quick. Alright, so alright, cool. TikTok, I'm hopping into my own live real quick so you guys can I can respond to you guys. Right now what I'm gonna do is go ahead and start building some coax. If you guys got more questions while we're at it, dadgummit, give me a break. Alright, so max to elements. Alright, YouTube's got that. I don't have any more questions on TikTok. It doesn't look like. What's going on here? Where's my... Sorry, I gotta get in here real quick. Alright, cool, whatever. I can't see how many people's in here. I should have had more, but I don't know what's going on. Whatever. There's more of you guys in here. Hang on a second. Alright, sorry. I had to respond to somebody blowing up my phone. Thank you, thank you. Back over here. Alright, what's up? Now that I took part of my time out of this, it's part of it. That's how this works. I try to dedicate as much time to you guys as possible. Cutting the AC down, I'm getting hot. So this is RG400 right here. This is what I'm working on. I've got to finish some stuff on it, and then I will move on to some 1/2" flex here pretty soon. For the guys on Facebook and YouTube, I'll just extend the video, I think. So actually, it probably it'll save this live. So what I'm gonna do, if you guys would like to hang around, I know I might lose some of you guys, and that's just part of it. I think it's more polite for me to go ahead and end the live, and then let you guys be able to reference that video as a separate video. So give me just a minute. I will hop right back on here in just a moment. So I think it's more fair and nice for me to do this for you guys.